Greetings everybody, I'm Lobo and welcome to Luna. This is episode 191 of my Minecraft survival series. Now, before we talk about what we're going to do in this episode, let's talk a little bit about last episode first. Last episode, we built some boats. We built one over here at the Waterside District. We built its sister ship over here at the Luna Ferry Terminal. And of course, we built one over there by the Enchantry Tower where we will be working today. Now, I asked you guys for some suggestions on names for these boats, and what's come in so far has been great, but I haven't picked out, the actual names yet because, of course, I'm starting to film this right after that video went live, so I'm going to give it a little bit more time. Now, we also gathered a pretty good amount of iron and coal as we were making room for the boats, and these are what I consider to be incidental resources. Now, over the years, we've cleared out a lot of land masses and mountains surrounding Luna and gathered a lot of incidental resources that are kind of lost in this jumble of unorganized chests. So this episode, what I want to do before we do anything else is just kind of go through here and see how much ores we can pull out of here and kind of, put someplace safe. I'm looking for iron specifically. I want to see how much iron we've managed to gather over the years. Now, I have pulled from these chests in the past, so I don't anticipate it's going to be a ton, but what I basically want to do is start getting some items consolidated for a future project we're going to be doing over in this area. So, in addition to the chests we just looked at, we're going to be pulling from chests all over the world, really. I mean, we've got chests over here, we've got chests over there, we've got chests up here, We've got chests on the opposite side of the Waterside District. We even have chests outside of Luna, so I do have a lot of chests that we need to go through. And, I'll go ahead and tell you about this upcoming project because it's not a big secret. Basically, what I want to do is get rid of all these unorganized chests in and around Luna. Because, last year I kind of skipped my spring cleaning and you see what the results of that are. So basically, before summertime, I want all these unorganized chests somewhere and organized, which is going to entail me making a pretty sizable upgrade to our storage system. And, there's numerous improvements I do want to make, and here's what I'm thinking right now. Obviously, we're going to be increasing the capacity of our storage system. I also want to make it a little bit more convenient, in putting items away, getting items out of it. I want to increase the potential longevity of this storage system by kind of simplifying things a little bit. But, we're going to focus on that a lot more heavily after the next world tour. Right now, though, I do want to kind of, give myself a little head start, so let me see how much iron I can manage to scrounge up. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get those ores all smelted up before we do our final tally, but in addition to that, we also have some pre-smelted iron in here, which I'm going to go ahead and start adding to the stockpile, along with some gold and also eggs. For some reason, I don't know why we have eggs in here. I don't know why this smelter is a good source of eggs. It doesn't seem like that should be the case. I don't know who's responsible for this. Is it you? Got my eye on you, fella. Got my eye on you. I don't know. Sheep? Why do we have animals in here? This is ridiculous. Yep, there's our problem right there. You know what? We're gonna handle this. Here, chickie, 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 chickie. Come on, chickie, chickie, chickie. Come on. Let's vacate the smelter. Yes, very good. Very good, chickie, chickie, chickie. All right. Yeah, you don't belong in here, do you? No, you don't. You don't belong in here. Come out here and hang out with your friend. Yes, you have to get out too. You have to get out too. I'm destroying all of my stuff just to get you guys out of my smelter. That's not supposed to be there. Let's not put that there. That's part of my chair. Yes, I'm dismantling my furniture thanks to you. Nope, no, you stay out. Look at him. Oh. And hopefully slabbing over the floor here will prevent more animals from spawning, which means that should solve our egg problem. So this should give you a pretty good idea of how wasteful I am or how unorganized I am. Like, in addition to a bunch of iron we had sitting in chests, I also just had hoppers unused from projects just sitting at project sites that we now have at our disposal. So this is overall a pretty good thing. It looks like we got a pretty decent amount of iron, but if we were to consolidate things here, it's not quite as impressive. But I mean, it is a pretty good start, though. It's a good start. So obviously right now in Luna, I'm preparing for a lot. You know, we got the world tour coming up. We got our spring cleaning project. Right now, I'm preparing for our project for today. We're about to need to prepare to get some more blackstone because I believe after I use this, I'm going to be completely out of it. Yeah, we're gonna need more than this. So I told you guys we were going to be working on the Enchantry today. Let me be a little bit more specific. I want to finish the Enchantry Tower exterior because remember, when we were building up the exterior of this place before, we didn't finish. We did phases 1 and 2 of a potential 3-phase exterior project, right? So today we're going to work on phase 3. We're going to try to get that finished up, which is going to include, amongst other things, kind of darkening up our block palette to match with the interior. And also, like, one of the first things I want to figure out, you see these blue flame torches right here? I want to add some of those to the exterior as well. So we're not going to carry over the exact same design that we use for, I don't know, the oversized candle holders that are in the interior. Over here on the exterior, what I want to do instead is make these more like lanterns or maybe even like cages that jut out of the exterior of the Enchantry, kind of housing this blue flame, which is in the overworld unique to the Enchantry and the Arcanine Order builds. That's pretty much the only place we're using like the soul flame and soul lighting over here, I think, possibly. So let's see what we think of it. I like it. All right, so in addition to adding some detail to the exterior, this is also going to help, as we discussed, tie the interior in with the exterior, and also it's going to provide some lighting to the exterior here, and we're going to have several of these kind of spaced out along the exterior. Now, I also mentioned I want to kind of darken the color palette, and we're going to use basalt for that, again, tying the interior and the exterior together a little bit better. Excuse me, spider, we got a bug problem over here. I'm trying to do this at night so that way we can see how the Enchantry is going to look at night with these additions because, I don't know, nighttime just seems kind of fitting for this build, right? Now, keeping that in mind, you know, you'll notice I'm placing these underneath like walls and stuff like that. That way these blocks will remain non-spawnable because we don't want to have random mobs spawning on our walls. That's just, you know, a headache we don't really want to deal with here. So we can just look at this little section and kind of get a feel for how the rest of this is going to look before we move further. I think that's going to work. Now, we can obviously go a little bit heavier with the basalt in some places, a little bit lighter within others, just to kind of add some variety. But yeah, I think that's going to be good. Now, thinking about the silhouette of this tower, you'll notice we have all these pointy, jagged spires, right? Everywhere except for the main tower right here, and I feel that's kind of lacking because of that. So what I want to do is go ahead and add some pointy, jagged spires coming out of the main tower, and that's going to help us, like, you know, with the overall feel of this, I think, the overall cohesion, and also add a little bit more height to this. I mean, it's not already my tallest build yet, but we're going to make it even taller. So these are not going to be like these kind of smaller, skinnier secondary towers we built. These are going to be even skinnier tertiary towers. And in fact, I'm not even sure I want to call them towers because we're not going to be able to actually get up into them. Like, I'm not sure what meets a definition for tower, but, you know, we're not going to actually be able to venture up into them. These are mostly going to be just for looks, for aesthetic purposes only, right? And I'm thinking, yeah, let's go ahead and go up one more. Why not, right? We're trying to make this thing big. These are going to add that feel of forced perspective to this because of that. Having this skinnier section up top here, like, this is going to make this build look even taller than it already is. Now, even though this is going to be fairly simple to build, I just want to build one for right now. We're going to have two in total, but I just want to build one for right now, just so we can get a feel for how this is actually going to look, right? And I think as far as capping this thing off, again, for the sake of cohesion, I think as far as capping this thing off goes, we're going to go ahead and make this another little housing for these blue flames. Ow! And then all that's really left is to just go ahead and make it pointy, right? So we'll just go ahead and throw some walls up here at the top, and that should be good. Let's go ahead and see how it looks. Now, this is built pretty much solely out of blackstone and basalt, so for right now, it's going to look a little bit darker than the rest of the Enchantry Tower. Yeah, that looks super out of place right now, but hopefully once we add our Basalt and Blackstone to the block palette of the rest of the Enchantry Tower, it will look a little bit better. And you know, if it doesn't, then guess what? I'm just going to go through and throw more Basalt and Blackstone at the rest of this tower. So yeah, we can make this work. So at this point, you should have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to be trying to accomplish here with the exterior of the Enchantry Tower. So I think at this point, we're going to go ahead and call Dee on over here, put on a little bit of music, and try to complete Phase 3, the final phase of the Enchantry Tower exterior. Ow. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. We now have the majority of the Enchantry Tower in. I say majority because it's not completely done yet. We're not finished with this build. We still got a few more things we need to do, but I think we're at a good place where we can step back and kind of look at things and determine where we need to go from here, right? So looking at this, I think it's a big improvement over what we had here before. Like, we got a lot more detail on each of the towers, right? A lot more detail. We got those two spires up at the top here, which I think all this adds to the look of this. And of course, adding the blackstone and basalt helps darken this up the way I was hoping it would. Let's go ahead and get a little bit closer. And you can see that this also helps to tie things into the interior as well. Because, you know, looking through the interior opening, it doesn't look so out of place, right? I think everything is kind of starting to finally come together here. Man, this thing is big. Now, as I said, there's still a few things that need to be done, and most of those things revolve around the grounds, the landscaping, and stuff like that. So we're going to start out here, kind of work our way in. So you will notice out here where we have our ice, I've kind of placed some ice, like, you know, up and kind of, you know, I wanted to give this feel that, you know, the waters over here were turbulent and then they were frozen, right? Now, I don't think I've done a very good job of that so far, but we're going to try to improve upon that today. So I think one of my main issues with how I've done this is that the line where the ice starts to kind of go up and look turbulent is very abrupt, right? So I'm going to try to even things out a little bit, kind of make it a little bit more gradual. So we're going to have the calm section where we harvest our ice be very sparse with these blocks sticking out, right? But then as we move a little bit back, we're going to have them be more frequent and the areas like taller, right? They're going to be protruding a little bit more as we move further away from that harvestable area. So we'll have 1 block tall sections, 2 block tall sections, transition into 3 block tall sections as we go under here. And maybe we'll even like freeze the walls a little bit because, you know, imagine the water's like spinning and swirling and stuff like that. It's going to catch the walls and then the walls are going to freeze as well. So this also helps to tie the idea of what we're doing with the landscaping into the build as well, right? And then as we get to the back section, or I guess the section that's just furthest away from where we're going to actually be harvesting our ice, the section furthest away from the calm area, we can go a little bit crazy with it, right? We can have these like, you know, kind of twisted spikes of ice that are sticking out. This might be a little bit too much, but we'll see. We'll see. Let me kind of build this out a little bit. Actually, no, I think something like this could be kind of interesting potentially. I mean, it's a big build, so we can have, you know, grand features to this, right? I'm thinking, you know, we're just having fun here. But I think something like this could potentially work. All right, so a little bit more progress to show you guys, but also I had another thought. Like, what if we were to kind of even raise this back section up a little bit, like add like pretty much a whole nother layer to this, like not a full solid complete layer, but so much ice on the ground that it looks like the water was actually raised back here. Like as it was getting whipped towards the back, it kind of raised the actual tide, right? Maybe, possibly. All right, I'm not quite done yet. I'm going to have to get some more ice, but I mean, look at this so far. Like so far, I'm liking the way this is looking. I feel like this really fits in with the Enchantry build. Right? I think this actually does look kind of cool and is suited for this build, right? Let's go ahead and take a peek at it from the inside. Yeah, I mean, some of this stuff needs to be cleaned up a little bit. I need more ice in some places and less ice in other places, so it's coming along. But I'm going to have to actually get some ice real quick, so how much time do I have? Where's the sun? Hold on. All right, I think we're good. Because I feel like the more of this I do, the less you can tell I've actually done. Like, you probably can't see any difference between this and the last time, despite the fact that I tried to kind of clean things up a little bit here. But I think overall, that probably means this is enough. That probably means we're in a pretty good spot right now. So, next up, we're going to continue moving inward with the landscaping, and the next thing that needs to go is going to be the grass right here, because we're going to start replacing this with warp Nalium instead. Now, here's kind of my thought process, right? We know the Enchantry is moving through dimensions. As it's doing so, stuff is getting corrupted. It's getting messed up, right? I imagine the Enchantry wasn't always this shattered build that it is today. You know, I imagine it was, you know, beautiful and grand at one point. And I imagine this grass wasn't always warp Nalium. I imagine that, you know, it was just grass at one point before it became a nether fungus, right? And I also imagine the waters weren't always turbulent. I imagine they were smooth, calm. I imagine the Chantry was once a very beautiful and peaceful place, but, you know, that's no longer the case. Oh, no. So there's some stuff in this game I really enjoy because I don't have to really give it my full attention while doing it, right? But then stuff like this happens where it occurs to me that I really should be paying more attention than I am. Now, as far as dressing up this warp landscape goes, we're not going to do anything too crazy with it. Like, we're just going to add some features to kind of liven it up a little bit. For instance, I'm thinking we add some more little blue flame thingies to the outside of this, and this is more for aesthetics. Well, pretty much a lot of this is just for aesthetics, but than anything practical, because this soul flame right here, it's not going to be bright enough to stop any mobs from spawning. It's also not going to cause our ice to melt, which is obviously a good thing. No, no. I'm out of Blackstone. I'm 2 stairs short. I mean, nobody's going to miss this, right? Nobody's going to miss this stair. I mean, we can even replace it with a wall. Yeah, that works. All right, so we've got all our torches surrounding this place, giving it a little bit of lighting, a little bit of decoration to the outside. Now, I'm also thinking we need to add a little bit more warp to this. Can we put these on top of the warp blocks? Oh, no, let's see. Let's experiment real quick, right? So we can make some shrubbery out of this stuff that kind of goes with the grounds here, kind of fits the same color palette, right? And then, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. That's not what I want to do. Give me a second here. All right, this might actually be a little bit too bulky anyway, and I can't seem to place stuff on top of it, or place these on top of it, and that is definitely too bulky. How about some warp vines? I almost forgot about these. I almost forgot about the warp vines, but this does fit in with our color palette, right? And we can easily get a bunch of this stuff, and it's not bulky, and it will add a little bit of height to our landscaping. I think this could work. Now, I don't want to add too much height to this, so I think we're going to kind of stop the growth of these at a certain point. Like, for instance, maybe like right here, we'll place a string over it to stop it from growing any further. That way we get some variation in here, right? Nothing's too tall, nothing's, too short. All right, let's go ahead and see what we think of this. Let's see what we think of our landscaping here. I kind of like it, actually. I think it fits this build fairly well. So if we're doing that down here, we should also probably do the same thing to the top platform of the uppermost, the main tower, where we also have this this warped landscape kind of going on off to the side. Now, there is one more area we need to finish off before we can call the exterior of the Enchantry Tower complete, and that is, of course, this landing right outside the main tower, right? The central tower. And I was originally going to do this in the Warp Nalium as well, but I kind of got to thinking that this is a transitional area between 2 other indoor areas, and I kind of want to keep the floor similar, right? So the stairs coming up here, they are spruce wood. So I'm thinking we might make this floor spruce wood slab. Again, we want this to be non-spawnable. That's why I'm going with the slabs. We want this to be non-spawnable because this is, more of an interior area where we are actually going to be versus, the areas outside where we are, not. Well, I don't want to get attacked by mobs. That's basically what I'm saying. Now, looking down at our first floor, it seems to make sense to me that we're probably going to want to at least border our spruce slab floor with blackstone, which does mean that I'm going to have to go on a little resource gathering mission here in a few minutes. So, I mean, obviously, we're going to have to go into the nether to get our blackstone, but I gotta say, like, we normally get that stuff from, going to the Lull Nether Outpost and collecting it from the Basalt Delta, right? That's a long trip to make, and my desire to do that right now is slightly diminished because Wolfred is no longer there. He was actually the main reason why I actually enjoyed going over there, right? But I don't know. We're gonna collect our blackstone a slightly different way today, but we're going to have to dress for the occasion. Oh man, Wolfred. I wonder how he's doing. So that brings up the question, where are we going to get our blackstone? Well, you might remember a while back, we discovered this weird little bastion remnant, and I think that's where we're heading to today. Because we already looted it. We took pretty much everything of value, aside from the masses of blackstone that it's actually made out of. So I think what I'm going to do is go scout the area, just make sure it's safe before we call Dee on over there. And then we're just going to start chipping away at that thing, right? And then we'll head back to Luna and kind of get the rest of the Enchantry finished up. The exterior, at least, I mean. The exterior. That's all we're doing today. Welcome back, everybody. So the exterior of the Enchantry Tower is now complete. You can see the sun setting behind it. That is an amazing sight. You know, it's really nice to see a build nearing completion, right? I mean, from the exterior, this thing is pretty much done. Like, you know, there's not a whole lot left to do at the exterior. Actually, I'm not sure that there's anything really that I want to do to the exterior. I'm pretty happy with the way this has turned out. All the changes we made to it in this episode, I like it. So the floor, that was the last thing we did, the floor, right? And that was just to keep things kind of cohesive with the interior. You know, I mean, the interior still need to be done, obviously. And we got these holes. I think I might actually keep the holes in the wall and potentially add a lot more holes in the wall. That way it's not so pristine looking in there. I think we discussed that last time. But all that's really left to do for the tower itself is just the interior portions. And I mean, there's not going to be a whole lot to that either. I mean, as you can see, it's fairly small in here. We got enough room for a stairway in each of these, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, this build is actually nearing completion. The tower itself is nearing completion. But based on the progress that we've made today, we should have unlocked a bit of progress in this book that's being read to us by she who is not yet named, right? Now, this book tells the story of the Grey Wolf and his conflict with the Arcanine Order, who had been here in this area before Luna was Luna. And the Grey Wolf, Wolfred Wolfen Sr., sought sovereignty over this land. And basically, in his struggles to overcome the Arcanine Order, he sought out the Old Ones, who apparently have something to do with Ender Island over there, the convergence point of all dimensions. And he decided that he would strike a bargain with them, okay? And he traded something pretty consequential, it seems. Our world, our very reality. So on page 6, the story continues. Let's go ahead and read it. It was the deal we were offered.
The deal we declined. A deal that would seal our fate and that of everyone else. He ushered the old ones into a new reality, divergent from the laws of our own, where they might finally ascend. This we could not abide.
Okay, hold on, let me try to take this in real quick. Hold on. He ushered the old ones into a new reality, divergent from the laws of our own, where they might finally ascend. So, according to her, Wolfred Sr. is responsible for bringing us into this dimension then? The new reality, like the dimensional shift was the change in reality, of course. Of course it was. So he brought us from our old world into the bedrock dimension where these old ones can ascend, whatever that means. And this was a deal that was proposed to the Arcanine Order, apparently, that they turned down. But he did not. Okay. I'm getting this. I'm starting to... But no, the Netherworm was responsible for the dimensional shift, wasn't it? Wasn't it? I'm going to need to sleep on this, process this information. Unfortunately, there's a creeper in my bed that we're going to have to take care of first. Yeah, there's a whole lot to take in, and it's got me wondering, like, how I could be so wrong about all this stuff going on here in Luna. We've been in Luna for a long time. So how could I not? I don't know. I don't even know what to believe. I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see how this story continues, I suppose. Now, at first glance, it might appear as if we're close to being completed with the Enchantry, but that's just the tower. The tower's almost done, but there's more to the story, which means there's more to the Enchantry, and of course I'm talking about Enchantry Island right here, which will need to be done as well, because there's still 4 more pages of this story left to go, and we can't unlock them until all this is done, right? So this is probably what we'll start working on next episode. But I do think that is going to be it for us today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please be sure to hit that little thumbs up button. That would mean a whole lot to me. And if you want to see more, please remember to subscribe. But as always, I just want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today. way. I deeply appreciate it. And until next time, I am Lobo, and I will see you guys later.